Luana Melo was a 25-year-old woman. She was born in Goiás, Brazil, and was the eldest of 3 siblings. Her family lives in the city of Jataí, a town in Brazil with a little over 100,000 inhabitants, located about 186 miles from the state capital. According to reports, Luana was passionate about music, and it was through a fan group of her favorite band on a social media platform that she met a girl from Argentina. Wanting to experience life outside of a small town, she decided to take a vacation at the girl's house. She loved the country so much that she began making plans to move there, even telling her mother she would be relocating soon. According to Luana's mother, Rosemary Carneiro, her daughter was unhappy with life in Jataí and couldn't wait to leave. She also mentioned that Luana loved her guitar and was a lively person who had overcome depression and difficult relationships back in Brazil. At 22, Luana moved to Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina. There, she landed a job as a financial assistant at a multinational company, and in her free time, she enjoyed reading and playing guitar. Luana, in addition to Portuguese, was fluent in 3 other languages: English, Spanish, and Swedish. According to a Brazilian friend of hers, who also lives in Argentina, Luana enjoyed the country because it allowed her to truly be herself and feel free. It's said that the young woman was always surrounded by friends and was deeply liked by them. She had even started a relationship with a man named Lucas while living in Argentina. Luana had recently moved into her new apartment just over a week ago. According to Lorena, the property owner, the young woman was on medical leave and had not gone to work that week because she wasn't feeling well. In addition to being sick, Luana had told a friend named Fernanda that she had broken up with Lucas, her boyfriend. Fernanda then decided to go and support her friend. Luana was home alone, it was a holiday, and Lorena, the landlord, had gone on a trip. Fernanda stayed at the apartment with Luana for about an hour and a half to calm her down. Before leaving, Fernanda arranged with Luana that they would meet the next day. However, on the day of the meeting, Fernanda called Luana multiple times, but she didn't answer. At first, Fernanda thought that her friend just wanted to take some time for everything and be alone. She then felt that she should respect her friend's supposed decision, but kept sending messages, telling her to reach out if she needed anything. According to the young woman's mother, on Thursday night around 10 p.m., Luana called her, but she was asleep. The next morning, Friday, Rosemary sent a message to her daughter, but the phone was off, which she found strange since Luana never turned her phone off. Around 3 p.m. that same day, Rosemary received a call from Fernanda asking if she had been able to reach Luana. Rosemary said no, and very worried, asked Fernanda to go to her daughter's apartment. On March 30th, 2018, Fernanda went to Luana's apartment. When she arrived, she rang the doorbell several times, but no one answered. Noticing that something was wrong, she decided to call the police. Reports say that the police took a while to arrive, and when they did, they went up to the building's rooftop, from where they could see Luana lying on the bed through an open window. At that moment, one of the officers decided to enter the room, and there, discovered what no one expected: Luana was dead. The news shook all of Luana's family and friends. It was something no one wanted to believe. During the investigation, it was determined that there were no signs of violence on the body or forced entry into the apartment. Laura Melo, Luana's sister, quickly traveled to Buenos Aires. Upon arriving, she went to the police station responsible for the investigation. Laura asked the investigators what had happened. According to her, they said everything pointed to a natural death. Despite these claims, the authorities collected material from the apartment, and Luana's body was submitted to an autopsy. According to the report, Luana had a series of physical issues, ranging from lung complications to heart problems, which raised the possibility of a sudden medical emergency. However, forensic expert Ricardo Molina, a renowned Brazilian expert and one of the best in his field, disagreed with the findings. He stated that he had no doubt that third parties were involved, and that Luana's death, initially suspected to be from a sudden medical issue, was actually caused by someone. His assertion was based on marks found on Luana's neck and the inside of her lips. According to him, whoever killed her covered her mouth and nose with one hand and strangled her with the other. The expert also mentioned that the force used in the strangulation was not enough to kill a healthy person, but if Luana indeed had heart problems, as the autopsy showed. Just the act of someone attempting to strangle her, cutting off her airflow, could have been fatal. During the process of transporting Luana's body from Argentina to Brazil, her family noticed that some of her belongings were missing. According to Laura Melo, while she was sorting through her sister's belongings, she couldn't find Luana's cell phone, laptop, backpack, or the money that belonged to her, money the family knew Luana kept. Lorena, the landlord of the apartment where Luana lived, even mentioned that, in addition to the young woman's belongings taken for examination, the police also took a laptop belonging to Lorena and a certificate of residence for a man named Ivor Uruchi Condori. Ivor was an employee of Lorena at a uniform store she operated on the upper floor of the building. He also had keys to all the doors of the property, including the apartment doors. Lorena further explained that the man often slept on the building's rooftop. This information, which was obviously crucial to the investigation, was only provided later by Lorena, as, according to her, she hadn't realized she should inform the police that her employee had access to all the apartments in the building. According to reports, Luana had met Ivor in the same week she died, and the property owner said that if Ivor had knocked on Luana's apartment door and asked to use the bathroom, she would probably have let him in, as she was a very welcoming person. Luana's body was taken to Goiânia, where it was buried by her family, who were completely confused by the entire situation. 3 months after the burial, the family got a surprise. Luana's cell phone, which had disappeared from her apartment, was located. The phone was being used by a man named Amadeus Uruchi Condori. He was the brother of Ivor, Lorena's employee, who had access to all the apartments. The two brothers, who are of Bolivian descent, were summoned by the police to testify in order to clarify the whole situation. At the police station, both exercised their right to remain silent to avoid self-incrimination. The two brothers were arrested for theft and receiving stolen goods, but were released shortly after to respond to the charges in freedom. Ivor was subjected to a DNA test, as genetic material belonging to a man was found under Luana's nails. However, the test was negative for Ivor and he was released. I couldn't find any information on whether the police tested Amadeus's DNA, Ivor's brother, to see if it matched the DNA found under Luana's nails. In a post I found online, it was mentioned that Amadeus was not in Argentina when Luana died. So it is possible that the police didn't see the need to test his DNA, as it would have been impossible for him to be responsible for the alleged crime, being in another country when it occurred. There was also the possibility that the DNA belonged to Lucas, Luana's ex-boyfriend, since they had broken up shortly before Luana was found dead. They might have had an argument, and Luana could have scratched the man. However, after the police tested Lucas's DNA, the result came back negative. Even so, Lucas was investigated but was ruled out as a suspect, as he was out of town when Luana died. The public prosecutor's office in Buenos Aires requested that Ivor Uruchi Condori be investigated for homicide, but the judge responsible for the case denied the request. A new request was made by the prosecution, and once again it was denied due to a lack of evidence. According to Marcos Tosato, the lawyer representing Luana's family in Buenos Aires, under Argentine law, it is not enough to prove that the crime happened in a certain way. It must be demonstrated that it could not have happened in another way. In this case, the evidence must be conclusive. As soon as Lorena learned about Ivor's possible involvement in Luana's death, she fired him from her company and even stated in an interview that the young man was not surprised when he found out about Luana's death. The family did not accept the theory of a natural death and also did not come to terms with the Argentine justice system's decision. Laura Melo, Luana's sister, said in an interview that it was very painful not to have the right for the likely perpetrator to be held accountable, and that, if he is innocent, he should at least be investigated to prove that. Luana's family and friends did not give up and continued to pressure the Argentine justice system for a more thorough investigation. They kept spreading the story on social media and also created the hashtag #JusticeForLuanaMelo to bring more visibility to the case so it wouldn't be forgotten. Initially, Ivor and Amadeus only faced charges for theft and receiving stolen goods. However, as the investigation continued, the pressure on Ivor intensified. During these investigations, it was discovered that Ivor had signed the building's entry log a few hours before Luana was found dead. This meant he was at the scene when everything happened. A friend of Luana stated that the young woman had filed a complaint saying Ivor had spied on her through the window while she was taking a shower. This had happened a few weeks before Luana was found dead, suggesting that Ivor had possibly been watching her for some time. Luana and Ivor had no relationship. They didn't talk and only knew each other by sight, as Ivor worked for the landlord of the building where Luana lived. Fearing a possible escape of Ivor to Bolivia, the Argentine police decided to arrest him. He was taken to a provisional prison in Buenos Aires while authorities gathered new evidence for the investigation against him. After the completion of this new inquiry, Ivor was brought before the court, which ordered his detention. Ivor was formally charged with the crime against Luana Melo and remained in custody until his trial. This was a victory for Luana's family and friends, who were deeply concerned that the case would be completely forgotten by the Argentine authorities. After several months in prison, Ivor decided to confess to the crime. According to him, he entered Luana's apartment alone to steal, and during the process, decided to kill her. According to the police, Ivor acted alone, and his brother will continue to face charges for receiving stolen goods. Ivor Uruchi Condori's trial took place 4 years after the crime, in December 2022. During the trial, in addition to Ivor's confession, all the evidence against him collected during the investigation was presented. It was concluded that Ivor entered Luana's apartment using the keys he had, which explained why there were no signs of forced entry. His goal was to steal some of Luana's belongings, but he decided to kill her after she recognized him. At the end of the trial, Ivor Uruchi Condori was convicted of theft and murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment and is currently serving his sentence at the Marcos Paz Federal Penitentiary Complex managed by the Argentine Federal Penitentiary Service. With this conviction, Luana's family felt relieved. Of course, this won't bring Luana back, but at least the crime against her wasn't left unpunished. Well, folks, that's it. Thank you very much for watching me until the end. I'll stop here. A big hug and see you next time.